was a short vacation away from the wheel for the AUSCAR set, and the monumental December battle between Jim Richards and Brad Jones was the bonus the sun-loving crowd were hoping for. The race format for Thunderdome's first Twilight show was a little different from past events. 3 10-lap AUSCAR heats, including a reverse grid encounter, were followed by a 50-lap final. Heat number 1 set the trend for the evening, with Steve Harrington making a demon start in the Roadways Holden. But the familiar sight of Jim Richards' Stillwell Ford was soon to be what Steve Harrington was looking at for 10 laps. The Ford man pulled away just far enough to relax the pressure, and he went to the flag ahead of Harrington, Mike Oliver and Brad Jones, all in Commodores. The second heat was always going to be entertaining for the crowd, but a nightmare for the drivers. With the hot contenders at the rear, the reverse grid gamble almost paid off. A wall of cars ventured into the unknown, with Max de Jersey leading initially from Gary Cole in a Ford Falcon, and Brad Jones carving through the pack to lead the charge of the top contenders. However, between turns 3 and 4, Tony Cabbage found himself in the middle of someone else's accident, and the Commodore took a terrible pounding. While the caution flag was shown, Jones also had problems and went behind the wall, leaving Richards and Harrington to again push through to the head of the pack when the lights turned to green. Richards was able to pass the Commodore with ease, and he set up win number 2 from Harrington, Mike Oliver and Max de Jersey. Down in pit lane, we found some troubled waters. Cabbage was out for the night, and front runners Greg East, Brad Jones and Terry Sawyer had their crews working up a sweat.
Probably, the uncertainty of these slower competitors that, you have to be careful when you go around them, and obviously, they probably didn't realise I was coming through and made the wrong move at the wrong time, and I've paid the price.
We started from the rear.
No, down again, down.
Off.
Yeah.
We started from the rear of the grid in the first heat to try and pass as many cars as possible. With the reverse situation grid, we would have been up the front with a fairly good chance of pulling that one off. But we broke a valve spring halfway through that last heat. It would have to be the back one, which is the worst. But we'll get it going. The 50 lap is the main one, and we'll go from there.
Well, I thought I had it shot to pieces. I came round on the second lap and was in second or third. And I heard a bit of a clunk in the front of the car, and I thought, well, the muffler must be falling off it. But fortunately, I'm not a mechanic, and it was the pulley off the harmonic balancer.
The motor went off song, and after the race, we came in and found out the pistons were destroyed, and that was the end of that.
After the carnage of Heat 2, the third encounter was just a little tame. Harrington got the jump, Richards slipped by yet again, Greg East was in the wars for the second time, certainly wasn't his night, and a revitalised Jones was moving in to make amends for his untimely departure from the second heat. They went to the flag in that order in the last teaser prior to the 50-lap final. 4 drivers could win the main. Jim Richards was running hot in the Mick Webb-prepared Stillwell Ford, and his tyres were holding up better than the Holdens. Having won the last 2 rounds, Brad Jones was keen to nail a hat-trick and the big bucks that followed. Mick Oliver was showing speed, but seemed to have copped a share of bad luck in the last few rounds. And there was Steve Harrington in the Les Small-prepared Roadways Holden. The ex-British Formula 3 driver was no slouch at the super speedway. The shadows were long and dark, the crowd keen for a battle, between courses that is. But Richo does his best work when the moon's out, and he was unstoppable. He started from pole position and in the early stages had to cop plenty of stick from the Holdens of Harrington and Oliver. But grip gave way to metal on the Commodores, and with dead tyres, they were no match for the Falcons. Ultimately, Mike Oliver totally ran out of tyres and retired, leaving Brad Jones and Harrington to argue over Holden's honour. Jones kept a bit more of his tyres up his sleeve in the closing laps, and he was able to put a decisive move on Steve down the inside on turn 1. Brad was catching Jim towards the end, but fell away in the final laps when metal was all he had left in place of tyres. So, Richards drove a beautiful race for yet another win. Jones was in the winner's circle for the 3rd time in as many races. Rod McLeod was 3rd.
Yes, it's always hard with in AUSCAR. It's very, very competitive, and if you can get to the front and sort of try and hold the cars behind you, well, then it makes it a lot easier. But Steve snuck past a couple of times, but we managed to sort of repass him, which was good.
Supporting the AUSCAR program, the NASCAR stock car final was taken by Terry Byers, who survived a Jim Richards challenge, who almost didn't survive a tap from Alan Grice. Fred Seary was also in the wars, having a lose in pit lane, but it was Byers, the ace of the pack, and he set up his first win of '89.